Hello, humans. When you talk about having some kind of medical issue, like I talk about having hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, I have a whole show on, or series of videos, I guess I should say, on having HEDS in bed with heads. And whenever you do that, you get people writing you or just mentioning something, saying, hey, have you tried? And they really shouldn't. Look, I understand. I understand that they are trying to be helpful. They're trying to be nice. They're trying to solve the problem for you. But if they don't have an MD or PhD in molecular genetics, they really don't need to say anything beyond, I hope you feel better. Let me know if you could do something. Because, have you tried yoga? I do yoga every morning. It helps, but it's not going to solve the problem. And the one that I've gotten recently, though, that kind of ticked me off was, have you tried methotrexate? Methotrexate is an immunosuppressant that is usually used to treat autoimmune diseases like rheumatoid arthritis. And HEDS can lead to having arthritis, but osteoarthritis. But not necessarily so. Not everybody with HEDS develops osteoarthritis, or we develop it to different degrees. And B, it's not an autoimmune disease. This person, somebody I don't even know, was recommending that I wreck my immune system to fight a genetic disorder that has nothing to do with the immune system. And again, I understand that he was trying to be helpful. But this is how ivermectin gets started, I mean, people who don't know what they're talking about, offering medical advice. I don't want to hear it. Unless you have MD, PhD, or something along those lines. Actually, those are probably the 2 degrees I'd want to see. I don't know. I don't. Don't give me your medical advice unless you're a geneticist. Unless you are a physiatrist, a neurologist. Who else do I see? Family practitioner, urologist. I actually do have a rheumatologist, but they're basically like, yeah, I can't really do anything for you. And yeah. Folks, I understand that people are trying to be helpful. I really do. I've already said this because I know it sounds like I'm being bitchy about people wanting to help, but that's not it. You're not helping. If you are talking about something that is outside of your experience, that is outside your education, that you have only a passing amount of information about, then you're not actually helping. You could actually harm somebody. Like, if I took this person seriously, if I didn't know more about my disorder than what I know, I might have tried to get someone to give me methotrexate. Thankfully, we have doctors who had gone, no. But, sometimes doctors will just, unethical doctors, will put you on something that you want to be on so that they can charge you for it. I've actually run into that in the past because, I think I have this. I was wrong. It was the doctor's job to say, no, you don't. I am not going to give you that. You don't need it. Let's find out what you do need. Instead, this doctor said, yeah, you think you have it, so let's treat you for it. And It was before I knew I had HEDS, and it was a symptom of HEDS, but I thought it was something else because, you know, I listened to somebody. And I learned my lesson. Don't listen to somebody who doesn't have an education or experience in the field. And I thought they did. I thought this person did, and I was wrong. I should not have listened to them. So this is more like, I guess it's more like anger about my past self being stupid. But folks, trust expertise. Trust expertise. People learn a lot about little so that they can tell you about a lot about the little they know. You know? That's why we have specialists, so that they can take a very small part. They can take take just genetics, and they can tell you all about the genetics. And then you say, well, what about the way my nerves are being impinged? No, you need to go see a neurologist. And the neurologist can't tell me jack about the genetics. And neither of them can say anything about the physical motion of my body like a physiatrist can, or a physical therapist. Doctor of physical therapy. Well, yeah, physical therapists, not just the doctors. We need to get back to trusting expertise. We've got, like I said, that's where ivermectin came from. That's where injecting bleach and putting UV rays inside your body and all the insanity that happened around COVID was because people were trusting people who don't know what they're talking about. And saying that the experts, people who actually study these things on a daily basis and have based their lives around getting this information so that they can give it to others, don't know what they're talking about. They're just trying to trick you into buying their meds. It's insanity. And people, when you do have a medical condition like I do, people try to visit that insanity upon you, and I would invite you to cut it out. If you're not an expert, don't try to act like one. So, sorry, little angry rant for today. But still, I wish you all peace and long life.